there is a tower in Kuala Lumpur that was never supposed to exist. It rose out of a swamp of stolen money, political ambition, and the shattered dreams of a country that believed it could buy its way into the future. It pierced the Malaysian sky at 453 meters. Its illuminated crown, glowing in colors synchronized to the fluctuations of the ringgit on the stock exchange below. It was sold to the world as proof that Malaysia had arrived, that it was no longer a nation of rubber plantations and colonial legacy, but a titan of global finance, a future where the skyline of Kuala Lumpur would be spoken in the same breath as London, New York, and Dubai. But the moment that tower was completed, the ghost followed it up every single one of its 106 floors. What you're about to hear is not just the story of a skyscraper. It is the story of how one building became the mirror of an entire nation's ambition and its tragedy. How a financial scandal of galactic proportions rewired the confidence of tourists, investors, and ordinary people across the world. How a tower built on the ashes of the largest kleptocracy case in American legal history became a symbol not of arrival, but of warning. And how, despite all of that, the battle for who actually owns that building is still being fought right now, in 2025, in courtrooms stretching from Kuala Lumpur to international arbitration tribunals. This is the story of Exchange 106. And it begins not with concrete and steel, but with a man, a fund, and a lie so enormous it eventually shook the world. To understand Exchange 106, you have to understand what Malaysia was trying to become in the early 2010s. The Tun Razak Exchange, known simply as TRX, was a 70-acre development by the Malaysian Ministry of Finance in the heart of Kuala Lumpur. Designed to serve as an international finance and business hub, it was a project of breathtaking ambition. The master plan included 26 buildings and over 21 million square feet of gross floor area, spanning offices, residential towers, hotels, retail, food, beverage, and cultural spaces. The man behind it all was Najib Razak, Malaysia's 6th Prime Minister. Polished, connected, and supremely confident. Najib had spent years cultivating the image of a modern, progressive leader who could push Malaysia into the top tier of global economies. And TRX was going to be his monument. Named after his father, Malaysia's 2nd Prime Minister, the district was announced in 2012 with enormous fanfare. It was going to be Malaysia's version of Canary Wharf. It was going to bring international banks into Kuala Lumpur, instead of Singapore or Hong Kong. And at the center of it all, Najib needed a statement. A tower that would stop the world. A building that would force people to look up and rethink everything they believed about Southeast Asia. That building became Exchange 106. To get it built, Najib partnered with Indonesia's Mulia Group, a major real estate conglomerate with decades of experience building luxury developments across the region. On paper, it looked perfect. Ambition meets expertise. But in 2015, everything changed. The 1MDB scandal didn't emerge quietly. It exploded. Investigation revealed that billions of dollars had been siphoned from Malaysia's sovereign wealth fund, money that was supposed to build the country's future. Instead, it funded luxury real estate, yachts, art, and even a Hollywood film, The Wolf of Wall Street. The United States Department of Justice would later call it the largest kleptocracy case in its history. At the center of it all was Najib Razak, and right in the middle of the fallout stood TRX and Exchange 106. a project meant to symbolize Malaysia's future, now tied directly to one of the biggest financial scandals in modern history. Funding was disrupted, confidence collapsed. The project became toxic. And yet, they kept building. Despite the scandal, despite global investigations, despite political chaos, the cranes kept moving, the concrete kept pouring. The tower was completed in December 2019, and just months later, the world shut down. COVID-19 wiped out global travel. Offices emptied, investment froze. A tower built for global finance opened into a world that had suddenly stopped moving. Then came the financial reality. Losses mounted. Billions in liabilities piled up. And soon, the partners behind the tower, the Malaysian government and the Mulia Group, were no longer partners. They were in a legal war. By 2024, the dispute had escalated into international arbitration. Ownership of Exchange 106, one of Southeast Asia's most iconic towers, was being fought over in courts across multiple countries. The company managing it fell into receivership, and the tower that was supposed to represent stability, power, and global trust became a symbol of uncertainty. At the same time, Malaysia's tourism industry was trying to recover. Before the scandal, the country welcomed over 27 million visitors annually. After COVID, that number collapsed to almost nothing. Recovery has begun, but it hasn't fully returned to pre-pandemic highs. And here's the connection most people miss. Tourism isn't just beaches and food. It's confidence, it's perception, it's trust. When investors see legal battles over billion-dollar assets, when headlines are filled with corruption cases, when flagship projects fall into dispute, that hesitation spreads. And hesitation, in tourism and investment, can be fatal. Exchange 106 was supposed to do more than just house offices. It was meant to anchor a financial ecosystem, attracting business travelers, conferences, luxury spending, and global attention. A successful financial district doesn't just create jobs. It creates movement, money, energy. But when the centerpiece itself becomes unstable, the entire vision weakens. Even today, the tower stands, tall, glowing, impossible to ignore. Architecturally, it is a masterpiece. Economically, it still has potential. But structurally beneath that beauty lies something unresolved. A financial scandal. A legal war. A question mark. And that leads to a bigger question, not about a building, but about a nation. What happens when ambition moves faster than accountability? Malaysia is not a failed state. Far from it. It is rich in culture, food, nature, and diversity. Millions still visit, and millions more will. But the story of Exchange 106 is a reminder. You cannot build global trust with glass and steel alone. You build it with governance, with transparency, with credibility. The tower is already built. The question is, can the country build the foundation strong enough to match it?